It's day 29 of the 1 year fast. I'm officially into week 5, and this particular week I will fast on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So I will do 72 hours in the 5th week of the 1 year fast. Again, the protocol for the 1 year fast is for me to fast for 3 days per week for 52 consecutive weeks. And then at the end of the 1 year fast, to look at all the biometrics, see where the changes occur, if any occur, and then also layer on top of the biometrics these videos to just discern mental, emotional, psychological, and spiritual health. And today being Sunday, it's a great day to talk about spiritual health. As I explained, I'm conducting this 1 year fast as a vegetarian. Indeed, the world's worst vegetarian. Over the years, the vicissitudes in my diet have been pretty horrendous. I first converted to a vegetarian when I was 16, and since then I've been vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, vegetarian, all over the place, which is obviously not too impressive. Shows some inconsistency that is not altogether laudable. But that's my reality, that's who I am. I'm not the best, I know that. But I do endeavour and persevere to be and remain a vegetarian. And during this 1 year fast, that is my aspiration. Now, based upon the fact that I'm conducting the 1 year fast as a vegetarian, I would just like to share some history. Again, I'm going to have moments of reverie during these videos to really be a connection point to try and identify some emotional, mental, psychological, spiritual health. With that in mind, back in the late 90s, alongside some friends, we initiated a campaign called Veg for Lent. And Veg for Lent, the premise was really simplistic. It was to encourage participants to try a vegetarian diet for those 40 days of Lent. So a very small window of experience. And we gained some good traction. It was very early in the internet, and we were on the relevant websites, and we got some good press coverage too, back in the late 90s, actually into the millennium as well. And its purpose was really just to, again, provide a window, an opportunity for experience. So experiential knowledge of what does it mean to be a vegetarian without a lifetime commitment to. And I know that better than anybody, again, being the world's worst vegetarian. And there might be a question, well, why try and align Christianity with a vegetarian diet? And that's a good question. What we can discern from the biblical text is Christ was perhaps, and this is maybe the most objective viewpoint, a pescatarian. So we know that Christ did consume, from what we can read within the text, fish. Fished on the Sea of Galilee. There was the loaves and fishes miracle, where Christ provided for the 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fish. But there is no biblical text that substantiates in a meaningful way that Christ did consume any other creature. There is a text that conveys Christ consumed the Passover, and by implication, perhaps, consumed a lamb. But there is no direct indication that Christ consumed any other creature other than a fish. Of course, Christ consumed grains and figs and all of the typical food of that location, of that geographic location, in terms of vegetarian diet. But there is no substantial evidence that Christ consumed any other creature other than a fish. Therefore, making Christ, by virtue of that fact, a pescatarian. And so the correlation between Veg for Lent and Christ's diet seems pretty meaningful. And so Veg for Lent was a good experience for me, empathy and a Christian lifestyle intersect. Compassion, of course, being a major component of a Christian lifestyle. And, you know, by extension, and this is kind of not going too much off on a tangent, but by extension, when we look at the different types of denominations through history, of course, there's many that do countenance butchery as part of the Christian faith, but there are many that don't. And one that particularly resonates, particularly as we talk about Pescatarian lifestyle, is the Gnostics. So when we think of the Gnostics in that kind of region of the Pyrenees, north and south, France and Spain, the Basque Country, the Christians of the Gnostic faith, they were firmly Pescatarian. And of course, as we move through the centuries, there are many denominations that substantiate a vegetarian lifestyle. So yeah, don't want to digress too much, but just want to share that information based upon some of my experience around my diet, fasting, and of course the major correlation between fasting and the Christian faith is probably rooted in the 40-day fast of Christ, which then ties nicely into that veg for Lent period that I was very much part of in the late 90s, early 2000s. Okay, and then back to the current endeavor, which is the 1 year fast. So again, going into week 5, feels like real momentum, feeling good. I'm going to be on a non-fasting day today and tomorrow, and then on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday have fasting days. And at the end of the 72-hour fast, so as we get close to the end of the 72-hour fast, then I will take my ketone readings with my new ketone reader and hopefully get some numbers. If we don't, I'm probably going to buy one more alternative breath-based ketone reader, give that a go, and if we're still seeing no success after giving that a bash, then maybe think about a different approach. Maybe blood-based. We'll see. But I do want to get some accurate ketone readings so I can see, am I in ketosis? What does that mean? And we can bring that data into the overall 1 year fast. So as we work through day 29 of the 1 year fast, today I may go for a workout. Again, on non-fasting days, I'm doing some weight bearing exercise. I'm scheduled to do leg work. And again, relatively light. Of course, it's all relative. Probably perform some Zerka squats, extensions, curls on the leg machines, maybe some hip thrusts, and then maybe some calf raises, and then maybe some lunges. And that will be me today, or I might do it tomorrow. I'll see how I go. So day 29 of the 1 year fast, lots of thumbs up, feeling good mentally, emotionally, feeling good psychologically, I believe, feeling good spiritually, and feeling really well physically. So for the record, feeling good. So when we look back at the end of the 1 year fast, you say day 29, good day. Okay? Thank you.